Welcome back to the What's Your Take podcast. My name is Justin Lewis, and I'm here with Joshua Miller. Josh, say what's up to the people, man.
What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to episode 5 of the What's Your Take podcast. We're back. Took a little week break, so we got a lot in store today.
Yes,
Justin,
sir. Yes, sir.
we're going to go over the 2 games that we missed.
Yes, sir.
Mississippi College and Delta State.
I was in Delta.
Yikes. After that, we're going to have a little discussion on who's the MVP, most valuable Blazer this season. We're going to talk about homecoming game this Saturday against Florida Tech. Then, we're going to wrap it up with a little hot debate.
Ooh.
All right, Jess, let's get right into the games. Mississippi College 2 weeks ago, 42-17 win for Valdosta State. What did you see that game?
Well, it was the most challenging game to date until last week. I think Mississippi College came in with nothing to lose, and I think we may be seeing that a lot from teams as the season goes on.
Right.
Teams are just going to take their best shot at the Blazers, but of course, as previously stated, the issue came out on the other side. So, not really a lot to say from that game. They kind of got it in gear in the second half and kind of just cruised on after a really rough start. I think it was 21-17 right there in the third quarter, but, they pulled away late for a win. So, yeah.
Yeah, not much to add. They've been having the run game going. That's why I noticed in Mississippi College. It was just another run-of-the-mill win. Like we mentioned, there's that soft spot in the schedule that they came up with shorter. Mississippi College, Delta State. Speaking of Delta State, let's get into that game. 34-13. I couldn't make that humble trip to Delta, so I'm going to let my boy Justin tell y'all what he saw on the sideline.
You probably could have made the trip, but, you just went to leave me by myself to fend on my own. But I took the trip out to Cleveland, not Ohio, Mississippi. It's not the same as Cleveland, Ohio. It was still cold. Maybe not as cold as Cleveland, Ohio, but still cold. The Blazers came out, and they saw a lot of adversity in the game. Rogan had his first pick of the year.
Right.
There was a fumble by Ivory in the third quarter, and they missed a field goal in the first half. So they had to overcome all of those things. But I will say this, Black Swarm, nice to meet you, because you guys held the Statesmen to 2 field goals and a touchdown, and the touchdown came after Rogan's interception. So who's to say that they wouldn't have held them scoreless in the second half? That's just kind of what these guys do. They go out and they don't care if they're playing with, a 20-point lead or they're playing from behind. They're going to make the other team give them their best shot. So Black Swarm, shout out to you. Again, the running game, Jamar had 84 yards, but Seth McGill, shout out to you. Your first 100-yard game this season, you had 103 yards. Rogan had a 70-yard exclamation point with less than a minute remaining.
Oh, yeah.
He added insult to injury.
Wheels.
Yes, Rogan Wheels, and I have a new name for him because I believe it was his second touchdown. He threw it to Buzz, and the ball was waiting on Buzz for about 3 seconds before Buzz even made his break. So, Rogan, you are now Rogan Chill. Because it's cold.
Now it's Rogan Chill, Rogan Hill, Rogan Wheels.
Yes. And, Rogan is running for Homecoming King, too, so.
He is?
He is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's something new.
Could be King Rogan.
King Rogan?
Yeah. But we're rooting for Jimmy. I like to put that out there. Shout out you to Jimmy. Jimmy for King.
For King.
Yep.
Now, on that Delta State game, only thing that jumped out to me was that Rogan interception. The points, it wasn't, that 40-point easy win. And I feel like it might have been a kind of underestimation, Delta State. Remember how we were talking about you get to this point in the schedule, and it's like, how do you stay amped? Like, how do you stay excited for game day when it's just going to be like another Mississippi College or shorter? And I think we saw a little bit of that against Delta State. They might have, just took that for granted, took that long trip, might have had something to do with it, just wanted to come back to the city. But, yeah, I just think it was a little wake-up call they might have needed.
Well, I'll also say maybe it wasn't all on the players, because on that Rogan interception, he was targeting H.J. Ivory Durham, who is the backup quarterback, on a post route. And, backup athlete, really. And, Ivory went for the ball. It was just out of his reach. And I don't know, on a down and distance situation like that, I don't like Ivory as receiver. I don't like him, being the one that's being targeted. Of course, he's the most gifted player probably on the team. He can do so many different things for you. But on the very next drive after the interception, they opened with a play to LC Gallimore, which was almost the same exact route, and LC grabbed it for about a 20 to 30-yard gain. So I just don't know how I feel about using Ivory that much. Ivory got a lot of touches, and he was on the field a lot. And like I said, he had that one fumble. You kind of ask yourself, what's too much, Ivory? Where do you draw that line? So I don't know. Against Florida Tech, obviously, Florida Tech is trying to right their ship, so we'll see how that goes. But you do have to ask yourself, if it really is just the players or if the coaches kind of start to get to that mindset too.
Right, for sure. Let's move on to who is the MVB, the most valuable Blazer.
Well, do you want me to?
I'll take this one real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I got Jamar Tompkins. Now, hear me out. Hear me out my case. All right, 605 yards, 7 touchdowns. About 100 yards a game and a touchdown a game. All right, now, if we're going to compare him to, let's just say, Rogan Hill. No, not Rogan Wells, Rogan Hill from last year.
I'm glad you said that.
We already know it's hard to duplicate what he did last year. We know. Right. We talked about it. But looking into this season particularly, something I've pointed out, they got the run game going. Even though they have all those weapons outside, they got Rogan, they got a good offensive line. They're pounding the ball. And what Coach Goff says about the air raid offense and how he runs it, he's taking what's given to him. And clearly, rushing the ball is what's given to him lately. And Seth McGill with 100 yards for last game probably took some carries away from Jamar, but, everybody got to eat. So I got him as my MVP so far because he takes a lot of pressure off Rogan Hill, who's coming in with that 50-touchdown season, basically the Harlan Hill winner. So he's taking a lot of pressure off him. He's showing up. So that's my pick.
So Jamar is a really good pick for most valuable Blazer. I think ever since the semifinal game last year, he's kind of been feeling himself. Of course, he got Gulf South Conference Offensive Rookie of the Year last year, but I think when he went head-to-head against the back from when they went head-to-head, he kind of was looking at himself like, wait, this guy, he's leading his team. I could do the same down here.
We're talking about Jaleel McLaughlin for Notre Dame College. He played in the playoffs, just to let y'all know.
Right, the semifinals last year.
He also leads the nation in rushing.
Right, and Jamar is leading the conference, and he had all of the accolades too. So the thing about Jamar, he always gives credit to his other teammates. He gives credit to the dynamic wide receivers who kind of open up that middle for him, the linemen up front who are blocking for him, and the play calling, of course, too. So I think that is a really good pick, but I'm going to go with the obvious pick and the, in my opinion, only pick, Rogan Wells.
I hear you.
Rogan, when we talked before the season, you were there for this conversation. I asked him, how do you get better than 50 touchdowns and 4 interceptions? And he kind of laughed, and he said, if you look back at the film, there's still work to do. There's still things we can do better. Some games we started slow, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They haven't started slow this year. They've been in every game attacking from the jump. Rogan has not turned the ball over. I mean, last year he had 4 interceptions. We're at the, 6th game, 7th game? He has 1, and it came last week.
Yeah.
He's doing a really good job of protecting the ball. He's a dynamic runner. You wouldn't know it because he doesn't always rely on his legs. And when things go bad in the pocket, he stands there, goes through his reads, and he finds the open man. I mean, he's kind of steering this ship, especially this offense that is so dynamic that could be putting up 50 points a game if they wanted to. And he's really leading them well. I mean, that's a pun, obviously. Wells is leading them well, but I think that this is – thank you. I appreciate it. I think that this is kind of the year where, no, he may not win a Harlan Hill. No, he may not do this. No, he may not do that. But he still is the best player in the Gulf South Conference. And, in my opinion, at least the Southern region, maybe the nation.
I can hear you. So, Rogan?
Rogan.
I know.
Oh, you're saying Roland?
For that Harlan.
He's who I would like to see win, but I don't get a vote or anything like that. I'm just a guy.
True that. VSU still #1 in the nation. Coming up against Florida Tech, they play them this week, and it's homecoming week. It's homecoming.
It's homecoming.
We partying.
Party people!
All of the festivities, the players are doing what the players are doing. I think that, this might be a sleeper game.
Sleeper game.
Yes,
all right, talk to me about that. What do you mean?
So you're coming off of the road trip. You're doing this. You're doing that.
Kind of a wake-up call, that road trip.
Yeah, I think that, they may get kind of, hit because, again, with teams just doing things and teams just going for it. Who knows? Florida Tech is trying to right their ship. They just lost to Mississippi College by about 20 points last week. They have nothing to lose at this point in the season.
Ooh, yikes. Lost to Mississippi College.
By about 20 points. In Mississippi. That's a long trip for them.
All right. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I wouldn't say a sleeper game. I think, especially coming off that Delta State trip, I feel like this is the first time under 40 points. It's like, they had that. It was kind of close for most of the game. I feel like Florida Tech, and it's on home turf, homecoming. A lot more people are going to be there than usual. I feel like it's going to be like
for a half at least.
For at least a half, yeah. It's going to be a stomp, as I always say.
So who do you have as a player to watch for this game?
I want to keep it on the ground.
Okay.
Because that's what's been rolling. And I want to say Jamar, but I got Seth McGill with a back-to-back game, like a back-to-back good games. I got him as the player of the game.
Okay.
What about you? Who we looking for, Justin?
I like the defense a lot, and when I go to that defensive side, I really like Corey, I really like Joe, but AB has been kind of quiet. Since that first game, I think he may have a good game. Maybe a pick six. I call for these touchdowns every single week. They never happen. I'm fine with that. But, I think that this week, somebody on defense, I'm saying AB, it could be Corey, it could be somebody else, who knows. But I would really like to see AB kind of have a good game, homecoming, senior year. I would like to see him do well.
I have a quick little take on this score prediction. I'm not going to say specifics, but this is the first 50-point game. Homecoming.
This week?
This week is the first 50-point game for Valdosta.
It's not going to happen.
It's happening.
It's not going to happen.
So we're thinking 40s?
I think they may get about 30.
50.
They got 34 last week against a really good rushing defense. Florida Tech is a scrappy team. They always play them tough. Every single year. Florida Tech is not going to come up here after they beat West Georgia.
So did Albany. What are you talking about?
Okay, and what has Albany done with their season since that win? They've continued to do well. So this is another instance where, again, you have nothing to lose. You're down. You're 1-2 in the conference. You're looking up. You're like, we have a win against West Georgia in Carrollton. We could win against VSU, draw 2-2 in the conference, and then kind of just carry on with our season.
I think they have a better chance hitting the lottery. They need to get a scratch off when they pull.
Everybody hits the lottery these days.
Well, they're not going to hit one against Valdosta. But I'm glad you're talking about this right now, because we're going to enter our last segment of this show, and instead of the hot takes, we have a hot debate.
This is about to. Let's go. Let's
me talk to him real quick, Justin.
I'm over here.
If y'all don't know, me and Justin are, I would like to say, distinguished sports writers, especially around this area. So
I'm over here.
Last year, I covered Valdosta State's 2018 national championship season, and I wrote a column called "Running the Table." You remember this, Justin? I was in the office saying they're running the table. We were Valdosta was 5-0. I wrote the column. Looked at how they won those 5 games and how they're moving on with the next 5 games, and I said they're going to run the table. Not only did they do that, they went ahead and ran the whole restaurant and took the national championship. So we're now 6-0. This guy's not believing me. 6-0, the way we've been winning these games under a brand new head coach. We're rolling. Now let's look at these next few games. Florida Tech, you know how I feel about that. That's a win. North Greenville, next. Let's get in the last 2 games. West Florida, which is at home, and West Georgia. I feel like the West Florida game, we're already going to be in full stride, and West Florida is our biggest competition to me, but I don't think it's going to be any competition to them when they hit the field. So, I mean, simply put, Justin, I have us running the table 10-0, Peach Basket, GSU champs. This is what I told him last year, and they didn't believe me. Nobody in the office believed me.
One
like,
eternity
drop one.
later.
They're going to drop one. Won the whole thing.
Are you done or are you finished?
I think I'm finished.
Okay. So,
Talk to
Josh,
me.
here's why it is too early to call that.
It's 6-0.
And they have 4 games remaining against 4 teams who have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Yeah.
If I'm Florida Tech, I'm looking at my record, as I just said. I'm 2-2. If I beat VSU, I'm 2-2. I'm 1-2 right now. Win over West Georgia. Let's get a win over VSU. I'm trying to make the playoffs right now, man.
Now, was West Georgia ranked? Were they number 1
We're
in
not.
the nation?
We're not
Were they
talking
number 1 in the
about
nation?
West Georgia just yet. If I'm North Greenville, this is my 2nd year in the conference. I'm not looked at as, a West Florida or a West Georgia or a VSU or even a Delta State. I'm nobody. But guess what? If I beat the national champs, the number 1 team in the nation, the reigning conference champions, I'm somebody now.
You're on the map. Okay.
I'm somebody. It doesn't matter what else happens in your season. If you do that and that game is going to be at home, yeah, okay. Then let's talk about West Florida. Who is the 2nd best team in the conference? 45-3 drubbing. 48-3 drubbing of Delta State 2 weeks ago for their homecoming game. They're going to come to Valdosta, and they remember what happened last year. They were leading in the 3rd quarter against the Blazers. It looked bleak for the team. And you know what happened? 21 straight points later.
Right.
They held them scoreless for the last 15 minutes of the game, and the Argos got sunk in their crib.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to come over here, and they're going to try to do that to the Blazers. They're going to return the favor because, remember, this is a team that is 2 years removed from a national championship trip. They've been there. They know. This program is in, its 4th, 5th year? Hello? Again, you knock off the champs, you're somebody. And then West Georgia, the Wolves, who are confusing and unsure, and I don't know what's happening up in Carrollton. But guess what? The Blazers have to go to Carrollton this year. And you know what's going to happen when they go to Carrollton? You know what's going to happen when they go to Carrollton? The Wolves are going to play the Blazers like it is their last game they will ever play, because it just might be with the way their season is going. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they lost to Florida Tech or Albany State or whoever. You beat the national champs, the top guys, Big Brother, for the Peach Basket. You won the natty right there. So no, excuse me if I'm not calling, oh, they're going undefeated.
Okay.
I've seen this team since camp. I know how talented they are. I know what they have. Hey, I hope you don't get in a close game because you've missed a field goal every single game this season.
We miss you, Andrew Gray.
It's not even about that. It's about if this team has not been tested yet. They have not been in a fight yet. The last time they were in a fight, it was against Ferris State. Let West Florida mess around and get them in a 7-point contest, in a 1-score contest. Oh, they're going to finish the job because it just means that much more to them.
That was a nice emotional soliloquy you had there. A lot of passion behind that. But what you never mentioned was the probability of these teams actually pulling off this.
It doesn't.
Ooh, I got
Listen.
nothing to lose.
Probability.
The Titans.
Probability matters nothing when you have nothing to lose. I guarantee you. The numbers don't matter. The stats don't matter. Number one doesn't matter. National champs doesn't matter.
Okay.
When you're a team with nothing to lose and everything to prove, it just means that much more to you.
Throw it all out the window.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Look at the talent.
Okay, look at the talent. West Georgia and West Florida are just as talented. West Florida and West Georgia are just as talented. Okay, Florida Tech may not be as talented.
Not fast enough.
Being fast doesn't matter when you're having 90 yards worth of penalties in a game, Josh.
We're not fast enough. How many yards was that Rogan Wells touchdown?
Being fast, when they put 10 people in the box, I would have scored a touchdown too if they put 10 people in the box. Come on.
Answer my question. How far was the rush?
70.
And they couldn't catch Rogan.
It was 70-yard touchdown after the refs just botched 2 back-to-back calls. They didn't care anymore. They just wanted to come up and get a hit, pat their stats.
So, all right, from what I'm getting, Justin, you got West Florida as the team to watch.
West Florida 1.
And West Georgia.
Hold on. West Florida 1, West Georgia 2. Then we can go Florida Tech, North Greenville.
Okay. Now, mind you guys, I said this same thing last year.
It's not last year. It's not last year.
It's just not last year. Slightly above 500 year.
They were 5-4.
5-4. There we go. And now, last year they were 5-0, and I said it.
The other thing that you don't account for, injuries happen. You've already seen Nick Moss and Kenny Benjamin.
I didn't account for that last year, and it happened.
And Kenny Benjamin and Nick Moss have both gone down. Hope both of you guys are having a speedy recovery. I'm just not willing to, with 4 games left on the schedule, with 4 teams with nothing to lose, and 2 teams that are actually really, really good teams, I'm not willing to call that.
All right, we know you're conservative. It's fine. Somebody's got to live on the edge. That was a pun. Live on the edge. Score fast, score faster.
It's not last year.
Anyways, guys, thanks for coming back for episode 5 of the What Your Take podcast. Before we sign off, first of all, shout out to the crew. This wouldn't be done without them. And one special person in the crew, Jimmy Dow, who's running for Homecoming King. Do it to him. Send us off. Vote Jimmy Homecoming King, if you come in about Valdosta State. And tune in next week for more What Your Take.